we have a little family business to attend to. The Cervantes family, if you'd like to come down, this is going to be a few minutes, so feel free to come down. Let me start by saying that to you guys, okay, never do this. On your 16th anniversary, invite your wife out for her 15th anniversary. Okay? That's not good. Okay? But we're going to plead COVID. Okay? Because Pastor and Jennifer last year had been here for 30 years. But with closures and openings and closings again and all that, we didn't have a chance to celebrate. So we're going to celebrate here for a few minutes. What we're going to do is invite Pastor and Jennifer up front. Well, you can first come and talk to me. Yes, that's you. Jennifer, it's called a surprise. Okay? And apparently it worked. So, come on up, and we're going to have a number of people who are going to chat with you, and you're going to stand with me first, and let's look at the cake.
Oh my goodness!
It's all for you, Jennifer.
Oh, I just the frosting.
Okay, we have a cake with the church logo printed on it.
It's supposed to have Clifford on it.
And then what we have for you, just a reflection of the congregation's love for you. We real quietly took up a collection, so there's a gift in here for you. And then what we'd like you to do is have a seat.
Is this a roast?
This is not a roast. Well, people are free to say what they're going to say.
Oh, great.
So it might sort of be a roast, but it all depends. But if you'll have a seat, and I got a hold of a few people to come up and speak, but I don't want to deny anyone the opportunity. So who's last on the list here? When Chris Wearsome is done, anyone else who wants to come forward and say something to Pastor and Jennifer, I'm turning the stand here so they're talking to you guys, and the congregation's just kind of listening in. Okay, so Jim, come on up, and you can start it off. And we're just going to, I have a half a dozen, and then if anyone else wants to talk too, they're supposed to keep it short. So, have at it.
Well, it's painfully obvious I wasn't asked to sing. And I was also made to make a pledge that I would keep this under 10 minutes. I've really got, they got restrictions on me that I really can't go into a lot. So, main thing I want to say, I love your people. I'm sorry I wouldn't get this way. But it's meant a lot to our family. And it's two words, two things I can think of that describe it as loyalty and faithfulness. And we just love you guys. And hope it's been for 30 years. I don't know what that I mean. I just want you to know we love you guys very much.
I'm not going to introduce everybody. If you guys can just sort of come around the corner here in sequence. But Sharon, you're the last one who gets introduced. Okay, after this, they're on their own.
You know, I have so many memories, but one memory throughout the years that I see is a pastor on his knees, weeding, planting, picking up debris, painting, man of many colors. But mainly, my most fondest memory is that of a faithful, loving, caring shepherd that cares for his flock, and it really shows. Pastor and Jennifer, we thank you so much for your many, many years of service to us, years of ministry, of following the Lord's leading and taking care of this flock. We are so appreciative, and we are so blessed.
We're a team here. Because I don't know how to talk.
Yeah, we know that, Reverend.
Okay, I'm going first.
The best thing was the spit.
That was good.
That was.
Kind of following Sharon's theme there, Pastor, of course, other than all his regular duties here at church that he does, just multiple things. We went to South Haven, picked up several hundred carpet squares he helped me with, and brought them back up to church for our base in Florida. He buys pizza and serves it. He helps seal coat the parking lot. Like Sharon said, he picks up twigs, he weeds, he waters. Lots of different things that go on. One of our cleanup days, he borrowed my pole saw to take down some of the trees, limbs out here that were kind of hanging down. And I watched him for a little while. He's working away at that. I said, "Well, Pastor, you probably ought to plug it in and use the chainsaw that's on the end of it." Then another incident was up at, we were doing a mission trip up at Curtisville, and he volunteered to clean a barn roof off, just a small storage barn. We spent some time up there. He was sweating away. It was really warm up there, and he had what I call some reverse visitation. Some little yellow and black little varmints that had a home nearby that decided to visit him. I'm not sure whether he flew or whether he jumped, but he was off that roof in a heartbeat. Thank you.
You're done?
I'm done.
Well, I remember the time that I went to, when we used to do things as women and go out to dinner, and I went to the dessert night at Kigar's an hour early. And sweet pastor was in the bathroom cleaning. Now, I think you should get that in a sermon to all these men here, that they should clean the bathroom. But you also, she gets you vacuuming too.
So true.
But that was a day when he had a procedure at the hospital, and she still made him clean the bathroom. I'm not gonna say what the procedure was, but it was. Another thing he did was he motorcycled into the UP. That was really dumb. You cannot do that.
Right.
I don't even like motorcycling.
Thank you.
I'm glad they took it away from me. And he said he had a little confession booth out there for Ethel and me, because we kind of needed it. She always says, "Have you been, what's the word you use?
Behaving?
Yeah, you've been behaving, and we haven't, so what else could we do?" I don't know if it's quite legal at Baptist churches, but one thing he always does, he goes last at potlucks. And that is really a great thing, because he goes first. Always out of me. But that is really a great thing. And you know what? I know you have two great sons. And look at the girl smiling. I think she had most to do with it. No, it was, you know, but you do. You've raised two wonderful boys who have been so sweet to us, all of us. But you know what? The one thing I really enjoy is your comments and the sermon, because it wakes us all up. So keep them coming. We love you. Thank you. But we really should have had Doug.
I
do
know,
something.
I'll talk to them, I know. He knows I don't like talking in front of people, so I'm just gonna face you. So most of you know, I grew up here. So that means youth group. And there were a few times where Pastor took his boat out on Wabsis, and we went tubing. And I'm sure there were many times where he thought it was funny to try to knock all of us off. Me and yeah, oh yeah, we did. But that's just something I remember. There's probably many things that I don't really remember. I don't have the greatest memory, and I had to go through the photo albums to think of a memory, and that's the one I came up with. Speaking of the photo albums, I did put them out on the stage in the fellowship hall for the luncheon, so if you want to look at more memories, I got you. So thank you.
Don't you dare say oh.
Uh-oh, I mean.
Okay. Jim, you got stranded with restrictions, right? I was threatened with a hook. So that tells you how we rate. Belmont Baptist Church, 1991. We welcome a young, newly married couple. And one is very musical, one is very not musical. But somehow they ended up leading two different choirs. The musical one led the adult choir, and the not so musical one led the children's choir. I endured both. When Jennifer says she cannot sing in tune, believe her. Because I had to play the piano and listen to it. But yet she did, with great enthusiasm, get those kids to sing. So, kudos. Okay. So we have a musical pastor who can sing, he can lead the choir, he can play the he played some mean trombone, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Not so long after they came, we started seeing a different kind of instrument show up. Yes. He got it in his head, I don't know why, to take up the guitar. Now, let me tell you, there is a huge difference between a wind instrument and a stringed instrument. So, and not only did he decide to take up the guitar, he decided to learn how to play the classical guitar, which means extra strumming. Not only is he, trying to find his way on the frets and strung, and just, it was very interesting to watch. And in the evening services, we would have special music as well. And once in a while, he would bring out the guitar, and he would, and it was so funny because you could see the intense concentration in his face, because his lips would pierce up. They would pierce up. And he's watching the music, and he's trying to, get his way on the neck and pluck the string. It was actually comical to watch. But really, he had great effort. He made great effort, okay? Then he got it in his head, I'm gonna play along with the songs, with the hymns. He's learning how to play classical guitar, and he's trying to learn how to keep up with the hymns. I'm on the piano, and the organist is playing the organ, and we're, playing away, doing our thing, and all of a sudden you would hear this occasional strum, strum.
Was the right key, I hope.
I don't remember. Okay, so we used to do these after-service fellowships on the 5th Sunday of the month. And after the evening service, and we'd have desserts, and we'd do different kinds of things. Well, one time we decided to do a skit, a talent show with different skits. Well, my Uncle Bob and Aunt Jan, they dressed up in this getup, and he came out touting a guitar in one hand. And he did his little strum, and he said, you know, it's been said you can strum to just about anything. Well, when you turned 50, not too long ago,
Thank you.
you received a gift. It was a blow-up guitar, and there was a little note attached to it. And it said, remember, you can strum to just about anything. Guilty as charged. I don't know if you had suspicions, or if you know, kind of, who gave that to you? Well, it was pleasant memories. Really, all that to say, Kurt, Jennifer, we love you. We appreciate your tireless, endless service, your faithfulness, the stick-to-itiveness, I'm going to say it that way, because, you know, there's been many twists and turns and bumps in the road, and yet, by golly, you're still here. By God's grace, you are still here, and we appreciate you, we love you, God bless you, and thank you for the many memories, and hope to, like Jim said, 30 more years would be just fine. Thank you.
Okay, we don't want to take a lot of time. I'm not going to wait, but if anybody wants to come up, come on around. Yeah, I kind of thought that we might get some feedback there. Perfect.
I could say something while he's coming up
You already had one chance, Rhoda.
about Jennifer. No.
Come on, Earl.
From Forest Hills Northern is required to clean up my road on Leonard Street. I never see her. Group.
I supervise.
Some from somewhere.
Not there.
Delegate.
I just
Delegate.
Well, I thank God for our pastor. And some pastors are teaching pastors, some pastors are shepherd pastors. Kurt Kigar here is a shepherd pastor. I mean, a shepherd watch their flock when they're hurting. He steps in to help them. I remember one time a few years ago, I guess a few years ago now, my wife was in very bad shape, health-wise. My daughter was bringing her to the hospital, and she asked if I would like to go out and see her before she brings her in. Now they knew that she had an operation, so they made arrangements for me to stay in assisted living. So I went out there, I kissed her. Her pale expression and her listlessness, I thought I kissed her goodbye. Well, fortunately, that did not happen. But it was really, emotionally, I was really hurting. He came back the next day to see me. Now, I cried in his presence, and he comforted me with my favorite book of Psalms. And I really appreciate what he did. God sent his man to help me. And I really appreciate you, Pastor. pastor. And he does a good job with his sermons too.
You know, much has been said about your willingness to get out and read or get involved with various other tasks, other than just presenting the word and pastoral tasks, shall we say. I also appreciate one other characteristic, and that is both of you welcome involving the body in the ministry of this church. You watch for people who are gifted in one area or another, and you invite them into the ministry. And that is so valuable. It's so appreciated. You welcome involvement. Thank you. Thank you. And that's for both of you.
Can I steal the mic for a minute? So I want to say thank you. As you know, I come and go like the breeze sometimes here. But I really do appreciate playing here. And I hate talking in front of these things. And thank you for the support with our mother. You helped us through a lot with that. And give me a second. 22 years ago, you dedicated my daughter to God. So appreciative. She's still walking. I hate these things. She's still walking the way she's supposed to. She's on her own. And thank you to God for keeping her in his arms every day. As a mom, you have to trust. And I'm just grateful that he surrounds her and he has taken her to many places and kept her safe. So I'm very appreciative to you guys to always opening the church up to us and for allowing us to come in here like we're part of your family, and I do appreciate that. And just everything that you have done for our family personally. You know, you are our family, and at least to me, and I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Good morning, Belmont Baptist Church.
Good morning, John.
Wow, it's good to be back, and especially for this Sunday. And, you know, I look back, how many years ago? Let's see, my middle kid was born in 2010, and we were already here when PD was born, and so that would put us at a lot of years just spent together. And two themes kind of come to mind. And the first one, that when I think of your ministry is great is thy faithfulness. And, you know, we've laughed together and cried together and, quite frankly, been depressed and anxious together. And yet, 30 years of that has just been an incredible mentorship to me. You know, I don't know if, for those of you that remember, when I came here as the youth director, I wasn't even a pastor at the time. I didn't even have a bachelor's degree quite yet, and I was kind of doing things, and yet pastor was like, hey, come on down, let's do this thing. And so we did. And just throughout the years, your mentorship and just being able to lead by example, to project what right looks like, not only as a pastor, but as a man and as a father and a husband, they're just those types of things you just don't get at seminary. Those are just those types of things that you just don't really, you're more is caught than taught. And so I've just always looked up to you and appreciated you for that. And the second thing that comes to my mind is, I always get the reference mixed up, but I'm just, greater love has no man than this, than to lay down his life for his friends. And what I've always admired, the second thing I've always admired about you is that being a pastor, everybody that's a pastor, they say, oh, this is my calling, right? This is my calling. And I've been around enough pastors to know that that does not mean the same thing across the board. Some pastors, I don't know. Let's not even to get into other pastors. We're not here to say that. But for you, sir, it is not. It is been for you a sacrifice. And I don't mean a sacrifice in some sort of a negative connotation, but to lay down your life for not only your friends, but your sheep and your loved ones. And I mean, to you, it has always been more than just people sitting in a pew to you. Just do visits and prayer and miss opportunities with family and missed opportunities with things that you want to do and all sorts of things that you've laid it down for us. And so just again to echo Winsome, sir, thank you. We appreciate you and we love you and we love that you love us.
I think we just ran out of Kleenex, so I'm going to go ahead and close. Lord, we are so thankful for the ministry of Jennifer and Pastor. We thank you for all they have done for Belmont Baptist Church and all they are doing. We thank you for the opportunity to see something of your love and your care for your flock as we watch this couple. We thank you for everything that they have done and all the ways that you have used them and are going to continue to use them in the future. We thank you also for this time together around a meal. Thank you for the opportunity to be back together in fellowship together as a church. Amen.
Amen.
You are dismissed.